Good afternoon from Yammy BTV. Wishing you all well today, sending loads of love as usual. Over the last few weeks and a couple of months, I've been asked about more stories about Reggie Kray and the Kraytwins. But like I said, I haven't bumped into them too many times along the years, and it would have been only in the 90s that I came across them, which would have been at the end of the careers, if you like, if it's safe to say that. Rest in peace, the pair of you. But yep, there was a time when me and my mate, I had a mate from East London called Lee Randall. Short geezer, very game and up for it. Yeah, some of you might even know him. Decent geezer, got on well with him, was a grafting partner of mine as well in the early days, in jail, if you get what I mean, when we was up to no good. But yeah, anyway, we're in a jail, the same jail that you know where. And we because Reggie used to sell phone cards, right? Double bubble, and phone cards were a good commodity, especially when you needed you need one, two, three, four, five £2 cards to go and get a tenner's worth of drugs or go and get this and that with the cards. It was good currency all around when they first came in. But anyway, he had bundles of them. Reggie did. So he was making up his bits and bits because he could use the cards to go and buy food and get canteen with them, or he could even exchange them for money. Not that he needed it or anything like that. He probably had a couple of quid put down and he wasn't in need of anything from outside really. So the phone cards were his commodity and his big thing whilst he was in there. Well, what I saw at that time. So me and Lee Randall, we've gone round to the door and we want to buy some because we've got other things to do that we want to do with the cards. So Lee's got in there with him and showed him a mobile phone, because mobile phones, as much as they're easier to get into prisons now, then it obviously for security reasons with then with now, then it would be easy kind of to get a phone through if you like, but to charge it up and them kind of things are going to take wires and batteries and things like that. But I remember Lee pulling out a little phone, right? The first of its kind that I saw. I think it was a Sony Ericsson or something like that, but it wasn't as big as the early ones, if you get what I mean. More like it was a much smaller size, and I hadn't seen one. I think the only mobile I'd seen that during before that was a Mercury 1-to-1, which was absolutely massive because that was the only mobile that I'd come across or had been out for during this stage. So Lee's showing Reggie the little phone, and he's saying to him, look, this is a mobile phone, you don't need all them cards, look, I can make a call on this kind of thing. So he's telling him that, and Reggie's going, you're having a laugh, what's this ain't no mobile phone. And anyway, I've got all the cards I need, I could just use them on the blue phone. Yeah, he doesn't need to have a mobile phone, not that Lee was offering to sell him the phone or anything. But it was so funny because we was doing the deal for the cards, and then the door's gone and the door was knocked, and another tall geezer knocked the door, and he said, because Reggie was into his bits and bobs, like we just said, with the selling of cards for whatever, the geezers knocked the door. We've opened it because it was time for us to leave, and he said, does anyone know who wants to buy a Game Boy? That's what it was, them little computer games like a Nintendo or one of those little things there. I wasn't even good with that kind of stuff as well. And me and Lee turned around and looked at Reggie Kray, and he said, what? And he said, a Game Boy, like a Game Boy. And Reggie went, yeah, but how game is he? Or something like that. And me and Lee just looked at each other. We burst out laughing because obviously we know what Reggie meant, but the geezer at the door didn't know what he meant. But I'm sure we all know what he really meant. But that was a funny one. And this was during the stage as well, where Bradley lost the Rolex as well. So he got separated, got put on another wing. A couple of geezers have gone and him taken the watch that allegedly Reggie had given him. And they were sending messages across to us to get it back. Yeah, but go in there, go and get it back. And obviously Lee was thinking about, out of respect and that kind of stuff. But the big fella that were close to our ear, they asked him, and he turned around and said to him, listen, I'm not paying no one no visit for no Rolex, especially with the why you give it to him and all that. He told him to his face. But we was more easier than that, me and the other boys. But I didn't go around to get it back. But they did. Funny enough, they did go around and get it back for him. But that was the kind of scenarios that used to take place in that life. And with Reggie, those are the only couple of things that I really remember. There might be a couple of more little scenarios, small ones, but I thought that one would have been a funny one for you today.